If you are a YouTube content creator, we are going to be looking at YouTube channels today. This is completely free to you thanks to TubeSpanner. You can find out more about TubeSpanner at tubespanner.com, but this is 100% free to you. If you want your channel reviewed, this is a super easy process if you've never done this before. All you have to do is I'm going to put a hashtag or a word into the chat. When I put that word into the chat, all you need to do on your end is you just need to also put that word into the chat. I'm actually just going to show it on screen and let you know what it is. But when I share that word, you just put it in the chat, and then the system that I'm using right here, it's StreamYard's giveaway tool. It's going to randomly select somebody that put that word into the chat. So that's what's going on today. So really quick, before we get into that though, I do want to let you know a little bit about TubeSpanner. TubeSpanner is a productivity tool for YouTube content creators. TubeSpanner has all kinds of helpful things for you, everything from script writing tools where they leverage AI to help you write scripts. And it's not like ChatGPT where you just put your title in there and then it writes everything for you, and then like that's it, and you have to take it and copy it into something else and then kind of grab things and move them around and all that. It doesn't work that way. Instead, it actually gives you your scripts in blocks, and you can add to different sections and all that without having to copy and paste anything. And then once you get it all squared away, then it can get you taken care of there. But it's an amazing script writer. In addition to that, there's a browser extension that you can use that you can actually access ChatGPT directly within that. But it has an upload assistant in it. It allows you to be able to schedule your content for sharing directly out to social media without having to leave the YouTube platform. There's a note-taking tool, all kinds of really helpful features for you inside of TubeSpanner. You can find out more about that at tubespanner.com, or of course, there's a link down in the description as well. And if you need help spelling TubeSpanner, this is it right up here. So without further ado, what we are doing, for those of you that are just joining us, is we are doing channel reviews. So how this works is I pull up YouTube channels. Based on, I put a word into the chat. All you have to do to participate is put that same word. And then when you put that word in there, all that you do is you put that word one time. And then I use this giveaway tool, and it's going to randomly select somebody that put that word. We're going to do a handful of reviews here today. So I'm really excited to look at channels. But basically how it works, I'm going to pull up your channel. I'm going to look for clarity in terms of when I land on your channel page, do I know what it is that you do? I'm going to look at how often you're uploading. I'm going to look at your thumbnails. Usually most of our conversation is going to revolve around, are you targeting a clear audience? Are your thumbnails helping people attract to your videos? And of course, how are your titles and all of that? So of course, Jerry says he's ready to see his dumb face on the drawing tool. I love it. But basically, I just go through the information. I also do some best practice stuff. Maybe I'll look in your video description, check your About Me page, that kind of stuff. But most of our effort is usually spent on thumbnails and titles. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get the first word into our thing here. And let me just go ahead and make sure that I'm sharing the right window. And I believe that I am here. Let's go ahead and get this up. So the very first word, you already know what it's going to be. It's going to be TubeSpanner. Geology Dude, what's going on? Hope you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Let me stretch this out a bit. Let me kind of move some stuff around here real quick also. Boom, boom. Okay, we actually don't need that, but we do have this. Okay, so yeah, so all you have to do is put that in there. You just have to do it one time. And when you put it in there, then of course, this is going to randomly select anybody that puts that in there. And I'm actually going to minimize that here just a little bit so that we can, just make it, it doesn't have to take up the full screen, I guess, in order for you to see it. All right, so we are at 30 entries here. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw it. We're just going to go ahead and pull it right here. Tiffany, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Doug, nice to see you in here, my dude. Man in the Garage, nice to see you here today. Suburban Acreage, nice to see you here. Derek Reacts, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. So the very first one, we got Beacon Sam Crafting Fun. Becknasam Crafting Fun, maybe is how you say this. So give me 1 second here. Let me pop up YouTube, see if I can find you here. There's me using those darn Mac shortcuts again. And bam, right up here at the very top. Fantastic. Okay, so let me get you up on screen. Let me take you to a better view here. Booyah. Here we go. Ooh. Ooh, how about this? Okay, there we go. All right. So Beck and Sam, Beck and Sam. Okay, so like Becky and Sam, I'm guessing. Okay, got it, got it. Super cool. So right out of the gate, welcome to Crafting Fun, Card Maker and Crafter. Okay, pretty clear. I am Beck Ann. I'm a teacher at heart, but I really love to make cards and craft. Okay, that's fine. Craft. So one thing, just a really quick tip for everybody here, and this is just a super minor thing. This isn't going to move the needle for you or anything, but just while I'm, on this page, or on this part of it, I should say. Oh man, did that get turned off somehow? Hold on. Huh. Yeah, I was gonna get the doodler out, but it is not here. So give me 1 second. Let me pull this down. And I will get that in here, and then I will get it back open for you. Okay, so tube spanner right there. Refresh the page. Boom. Okay, so I don't have to log in or anything. That's cool. Okay. So what I was saying though about the About Me page. So just as a heads up, this very first part up here, this area right up here. If somebody shares your channel page, now in an individual video, this isn't going to happen. But if they share your channel page out to social media, just as a heads up, this right here is going to, that very first line of your description, it's up to 72 characters, is going to show on Twitter. It's going to show on Facebook as part of the message when somebody shares your channel out. So just a quick optimization thing. Again, this isn't something that's going to move the needle for you. It's just one of those tidying up type of things. But one thing you want to do here is on Beck and Sam, we make cards and crafts, or we teach you to make cards and crafts, or we share our loves for cards and crafts, something like that. But you want to use it as kind of like a way to where if the target people that you're trying to reach all over the internet, if they happen to see that somebody shared this, then they would get that little blurb to have context is the idea. So just think of that when you're putting that together. All right, let's see what you got. Okay, so you are using the trailer spot, so that's cool. For you, Happy Meal and Craft Fair goodies, how I make 3 cards and 3 projects with 2x12 pieces of cardstock. Okay, so the very first thing that I'm going to mention here is just a quick best practice thing. When it comes to your regular, landscape videos, don't worry about putting hashtags in the titles. This isn't going to do anything for you. It's not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. It actually makes your titles kind of messy. Don't worry about putting that in your titles. These are meant for your video descriptions. So make sure that when you are using stuff like this, that you put it down here, down into your video description. And the reason for that is because down here, it will be clickable and it'll also be down underneath the title. But it's not as like in people's face, right? And the reason you want to think about that is like, let's say that I'm watching a video, right? This hashtag right here is above the fold. As a viewer, I'm already getting distracted by all of this stuff over here on the side, right? It's like, hey, Nick's live reviewing channels. We've got Friday Morning Coffee over here doing whatever it is that they're doing. We've got, new videos from people that, that we subscribe to. And we're already competing with all of this. So the last thing you want is to add more competition. Also, if they have this open, they're also seeing, oh, hey, Spaceflight Now is live. Hey, Nick uploaded a new video recently that I haven't watched yet, right? So there's so much stuff to be distracted by. You want to minimize that. And there's really no helpful purpose to even use this here. But let me show you what happens. If you click on this, then it takes them to, this grid of other stuff. You're in here, for looks like this particular one, which might be the one that I clicked on. But so are all these other people, right? So basically you are sending and spreading awareness about all these other, channels, and you're kind of working against yourself in that particular case. Now, again, not something that's going to move the needle for you, but that's definitely something to be mindful of, and everybody should be mindful of that. Don't use hashtags in your title. Those are made for your video description, so use them down there. I mean, you can use them in your title, but it's a leak. Next, so here you have how I made 3 cards and 3 projects with 2 10x12 pieces of cardstock and 1 Spellbinders stamp set. First off, this title is huge. Try to keep your titles, relatively reasonable. YouTube recommends, or their kind of their box when you're filling out your titles, they have the 60 characters there, but you want to try to keep it, 60 or less. If you can keep it around 50 to 53, then it ensures that that wherever it is that people see your title on YouTube, it doesn't get cut off. So you can see here how in the suggested videos over here, how some of these are getting cut off. Actually, this is your title right here. So this is a great example. Let me zoom in on this. Actually, that's a really bad way to do it. Hold on. Let me just use the doodler thing over here, and we'll do it this way. Let me go down here and find it. Yeah. So this right here, let me kind of scoot over. I can't really scoot over, it looks like. But basically, in this particular thumbnail, you can see how it's getting truncated right here. So fortunately, you have the important part here before it gets truncated. But in that particular case and this one, you can see how your titles are getting cut off on suggested videos. Now, in a lot of cases, this isn't even a huge deal. It's nothing really to, concern yourself about in terms of like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. My titles are getting cut off. Not a huge deal, but one of the big things that you want to do when it comes to YouTube for all of us is we want to make it as easy as possible for people to access our content wherever it is that they see it. So one of the things that you do here is you kind of remove the ability to fully use the title and give the context that they need in suggested videos. Now, keep in mind, you can pop up here in, the up next section, and then YouTube, might just show your video next by default. But one of the things that you want to think about is like, okay, if I am going to make long titles, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the suggested videos, and I'm going to get an idea for where my titles are going to get cut off if I do make long titles, so that I can make sure that I put the most important thing before it gets truncated, right? So before that 52 character mark. So so there's that. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty here. So this is stuff that can make the difference when it comes to your YouTube channel. So if you look right here at your title, right, it says how I made 3 cards and 3 projects, right? So you got 103 views on this. So it's pretty good out of your last, handful of videos. But keep in mind, this is about, you and what it is that you are doing. Some people will obviously find that interesting. However, one of the things that you got to make sure that you're thinking about is, okay, what value are people going to see with this from the outside, right? So in this particular case, how you made 3 cards and 3 projects with 2 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, it kind of suggests the idea that if you were to watch this video, you could probably do something similar. But if you did it as a how to make 3 cards and 3 projects with just 2 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, then instead of making it about you, you suddenly make it about the viewer, right? And that type of thing, especially when you're first getting started, is really advantageous for packaging your videos. So the reason that makes a difference is because if you are just doing it about you and you don't have like a large audience to tap into yet, then in that particular case, you don't have that scale for people to care, right? So like, let's say somebody really popular makes a video and they're like, how I did this. Then people are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna watch your stuff anyway. So yeah, let's watch it and see how you did that. But when you're trying to get that initial momentum, and really even down the road, right? Like even when you have a thriving, successful channel, making it about the viewer is one of the best things that you can do, because then what happens is then it's like, okay, it's not about how this person did this, like whatever. There's extremely clear value for the people that are seeing that packaging. And by packaging, I mean topic, title, and thumbnail, but in this case, it's thumbnail and title. So what you want to think about when you are putting together your thumbnails and titles is you want to first identify the things that would help people, recognize that it's about something that they care about. In this particular case, this might be enough. I'm not sure. This isn't my, niche, so to speak. I've never, worked with anybody that's just done like, cards, that type of thing. But when it comes to this might be enough to help them identify that it's about that, or at least grab their attention to where they see that and like, oh, that's a cute card or something like that. So I think your thumbnail is okay. One thing that I would do, I'm going to tell you here in just a second. But when it comes to your title, I would definitely start making your titles more about the viewer and how that video is going to help the viewer. Now, keep in mind, when you do this, it's also important to make sure that you are considering this whole idea at the video ideation stage. And the reason that you want to do that is because if you know at the video ideation stage, if you're like, okay, I'm going to make this, how to make three cards, three projects with two 12 by 12, pieces of cardboard stock, then when you know that you're going to package it that way, then in that particular case, when you make the video, then you can set everything up in the beginning. So I'm sure you're aware already of how important audience retention is on YouTube. It's so important that they are rolling out right now extra statistics or extra metrics in our audience retention reports to help us get even more insights to how different groups of people respond to our content. But the thing that you want to do is when people come into your video, if you think about this, before you publish the video or before you actually create it, is you can say, hey, today I'm going to show you how you can do this. Or you can at that moment say, hey, I'm going to show you how I did this so that you can, do it with the card stock that you have laying around, right? And then you basically use that as a way to set the video up and confirm or reaffirm that what it is that they clicked on and expected from that click, that they're actually going to get that out of your video. That was a very wordy way to say, make it about the viewer. But the whole idea that I'm trying to express is that, the better that you can do that, the more it's going to resonate with random people that are not already familiar with you, and that can help you grow your YouTube channel. Another thing that is important, keep in mind, this is a month ago, so, you might be doing this stuff already. But so here, 3 days ago, 6 days ago, 9. Okay, you're publishing on a regular basis. Okay, I was looking at the For You there. So one thing that you want to make sure that you do, and as of right now, it looks, hold on, gingerbread card. Okay, cards, so you still got the cards. Yeah, this is another one, right, really quick. So right here, you see hashtag True Crafters One Design, hashtag Satshorn makes hashtag cards. I participated the first time, made a snowman. Yeah, go in there as soon as the stream is over, take these hashtags, put them down into your video descriptions, and then reframe this title around, it's a snowman, so we're past that season. But to get it ready for next year, I would go in and I would update this title with all the information that I just shared with you. But one of the things that I was looking for is just consistency within your content, because in the For You page, they just show you random videos from your channel that are a good fit for the viewer that's interacting with the content. And all of these, so far, they seem relevant, which is good. But yeah, I would definitely be mindful of what it is that you're doing with your titles. Next, right now, you are, at the beginning, you're trying to grow your YouTube channel. You're trying to bring attention to what it is that you're doing. One thing that I would definitely do, because you have 52 videos on the channel, is currently when I land on your channel page, I have, let me go all the way back to the beginning of this. So I have these 3.5 videos to choose from. This video here, which will take us to 4.5. And then I have these other 6 videos right here. So I've got roughly 10 videos of yours to choose from before I have to start digging around your channel trying to find more. One of the best things that you can do for people that are really into your content, because that's usually how they'll come to your channel page. Either somebody will share it out and they'll come in that way, or they'll watch one of your videos and then they'll hit your channel page to see what else you have. So one of the best things that you can do for those people is set your channel up with playlists added as sections here. So you get 12 different sections that you can add. So currently you have For You on, you have your videos tab, and then underneath that, what you want to do is your playlists. You want to have these playlists, right? You want to take, technically you could put all of these there and just list them going down the channel page. But when you do that, make sure that you update the title. So when you say Happy Mail, that doesn't really, give a lot of context. Let us know what it is that you're doing with it. Adding to my stash, again, like if somebody's not familiar with the videos in this playlist, write the title in a way to where somebody brand new that's never interacted with your content before, if they see the title of that playlist, they know what kinds of videos that they can expect inside. And then you do that with all of your different playlists, and then you can add up to 12 sections here on your channel page. This sort of thing that you're doing down here with the channels, this is all fine, right? This is all fine and dandy. But keep in mind, if you are not friends with these people, I would not put them here. And the reason for that is because, people respond to numbers. It's just the way things are. So let's say somebody lands on your page from one video and they come and they check out your channel page and you're coming down here and they're like, Craft Roulette. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, they got like 10,000 subscribers. I wonder what kind of stuff they have over there. People must like this. Or call me Crafty AI. People must like this. Click. right? And then there, you might have lost that viewer to one of these channels. So, that's a cool thing to do if they're friends or something like that. But if you don't really know each other, then in that case, I would not send that traffic off right now. Like once down the road, once you have consistent views coming in and, you've got some good momentum on the channel, at that point, if you're like, hey, I want to add some stuff down here all day long, that's fine. But right now I would just kind of reserve everything for your content, because you get more value out of them coming to your channel page and then clicking in and going into more of your videos. So in that particular case, that particular one was more about titles and, more about titles and thumbnails. So that's probably what a lot of these are going to be about today, but we'll see. We're going to see how it goes. So this one is going to be Tube Spanner Purple. Is the next one here. We got Tube Spanner in the house. What's going on, Danielle? Hope that you are doing great. And let me take that down a notch there. So yeah, just put Tube Spanner Purple in here. They're in the process of a rebrand, so I'm like doing the colors here in the background. I've got the StreamYard thing here all styled out. In the process of converting everything over. Okay, so we're at 30. So we got 77 people in here, so I'll wait for just a few more to come in. Give everybody time in case somebody was grabbing a glass of water or coffee or something, because it is that time of day over there, I think. No, it's like 11 in the afternoon. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll wake up at like 11 or 12 and have coffee at that time. So yeah, maybe there are some people that are doing that. Okay, I'm going to wait for 2 more, maybe. I'm going to give it like 10 seconds to change, and then I'm going to hit it. Okay, one more. Where we at? There it is. All right, here we go.
Let's get this thing spinning.
Where's my drum roll? Jerry! All right, here we go. Whoa. It's like you had a vision coming in here today, Jerry. You're like, hey, I want to see my face up there. Here it is. All right, here we go. So right out of the gate, I'm your food analyst. Okay, Dairy Dine Snacks Podcast. Subscribe if you like food. Pretty clear. One thing, just to mention this really quick, is I don't know if you have another channel called if it's called Dairy Dines or if that's kind of how the name of what this one was in the past. But if so, then you might want to make that one a little bit less attention grabbing and just have, okay, I see. So it's basically like your long form videos, you do your dyeing stuff, your shorts, you do snacks, and then here you do the podcast. Got it. Yeah, I think I understand. Okay, so right out of here, analysis and breakdowns of incredible food. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to skip the For You section. So really quick, something I want to mention here is if you are doing like review type things here and talking about like the different chains and things like that, and then over here in your shorts, you're doing like snack reviews. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be, and you're doing like interviews stuff over here. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be a good fit going back and forth. Like one reason that you want to think about that is that you want to think about that and kind of staying on brand with like a thing is because when people are interacting with your shorts, then they are likely to get recommended some of your long form content as well. So if they're into like the quick snack things, but I guess one's food, one's desserts. That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like it might be. So then in that particular case, I think you might be okay. Okay, what went right? Relentless Chef Dinner. Okay. So here, just a heads up, keep in mind I'm not a foodie, but when I see what went right, Relentless Chef Dinner, I have no idea what that means. So it looks to me, and in this thumbnail, it looks like this is like pizza or something in here. I'm not sure what that is. It says best tapas in Philly. So yeah, like the packaging for this, I have no clue what this is about. I don't know if Relentless is like an emotional trigger, or I don't know if Relentless is a brand. I'm not sure. Millennial Legend says you live in Thailand, you're a foodie. I actually don't eat Thai food. I know, it's crazy. Uh, but yeah, I'm not sure with Relentless what it is. But if I were to have this presented to me, I would have no clue what to expect. What went wrong at a popular donut chain? In this particular case, if it's popular, I would call it out because you have popular, but I would definitely call it out. Like if it's Dunkin' Donuts, for example, or whatever if it's a chain that has either national chains or let's say half the country or global, then in that case, put their name. If it is something like in your area, in that particular case, I wouldn't even make the video about it. If you make the video about it and it's in your area, then in that particular case, you are closing that video down in a massive way in terms of who would be interested in that particular video. So I would just keep that in mind. I'm not sure what the situation is on that one. What went right at Pink Box Donut Shop? So I'm going to guess maybe that's the same. So here's another thing too, and this is a really important detail. So if you look at your thumbnail right here, my eye kind of goes over into here first, and then it goes over to you, and then I go over to the donuts. I would try to make the donuts front and center on all this stuff. Like I'm sure you're using the image in here, like, hey, it's a human making an emotion and humans connect with humans. So you're kind of leveraging that. But it's like the text on here and you, and then the donuts, like it's kind of too much. Like one thing I would definitely experiment with if you're open to do it is not putting any text on here. So you'll eventually get YouTube's A/B testing tool. You can use TubeBuddy, also their A/B testing tool, and just try to get an idea if people respond better with the text or without. But I would definitely try to take one of those off, because if you just have you, then that bright blue will grab attention, and then the whole other side of the thumbnail can just be filled up with donuts. But right now, there's no, like, your eye kind of goes crazy when you land on that, to where it's like, okay, we got the yellow pulling me over here, and then I pull over to the blue, and then I go off to the donuts, right? You want them to see the donuts if they're a food person. You want that to be like front and center. If you want you to be front and center, then you're nailing that here. But I would definitely take this off because it's causing too much competition with these other 2 points of focus. Pizza battle, what went wrong with cheese on bottom pizza? Yeah, like here too, right? Like what went wrong? This might be a series, I'm guessing, because you have what went right, what went right. So what went wrong, what went right, what went wrong, what went wrong. So it looks like this might be like a series of some kind. This one worked, right? This one you had 1,000 views on this one, but it's also Jersey Mike's, which I believe is a national chain. So that kind of points back to this whole idea here about being clear about it. If it's an international chain, or not even mentioning it, or not even making a video about it if it's not. And I know things like that kind of suck, because like if you want to highlight something in your local area, then in that particular case, it's kind of like, man, I just want to do something about this, place. But like when you don't have the when you don't have the authority of that, of a lot of people knowing that place, kind of works against you, unfortunately, because people don't care, right? If it was Dunkin' Donuts in that place, in that particular case, then, people might care about that. But if it's just some like random, place in, your area, majority of people just aren't gonna care. Let's see here. Yeah, this is another one too. Like if you look at this thumbnail, let me switch it over to this. Oops, wrong one. If you look at this thumbnail right here too, right? Like I'm completely zoomed in on this and I'm still having trouble. If I don't read the title, I can't clearly see that that's a hamburger over on the right-hand side. So I think that that in your particular case, I think the very first thing that you should do is when you are putting your thumbnails together, I think that you should go through the process of kind of zooming back right? Like look at it at a small size and being like, all right, is this crystal clear? If I didn't know, if I did not have the title for context, is it clear that this is a hamburger? Is it clear that it's food? I would definitely do that with everything. I would also go through the process that I mention in my streams a lot, where I talk about, the questions to ask yourself, right? Like, what about this thumbnail is going to help them identify that it's something that they care about? And then, is there anything that I'm doing to this thumbnail that's going to distract them from seeing that thing or seeing it quickly, that they might, care about, and help them understand that this video is something that they might be interested in. What went wrong? Why doing a burger like this? And personally, like with this also, like, what went wrong? Why ruin a burger like this? I think this is another one where, I mean, granted, it's, these are all these are like a whole month ago. This one's 2 months ago. So is this one. But like in this particular case, I think this is another one to where it's like, okay, what about this would make it important to somebody that's interested in food, right? So I think that, like what wrong with this? Why make a burger or why ruin a burger like this? There's no real context of like what it is that you might get inside of that video. So here's one thing, dude, right out of the gate, like in your situation, is I would work a lot on clarity. And the reason that I would work on clarity is because, you have like what went wrong, which that by itself is something that can definitely, grab, some attention. So, I think it's okay, but I would definitely work on, visual clarity and the textual clarity that you're, for your thumbnails and just video topics in general. Like I would even attempt to be like, okay, how can I just make this just informative, so that I can, just make sure that it's clear from the outside of what it is that I'm doing, and experiment with some videos like that, just to see, the response and see if it makes a difference for you or not. Now, this one right here, let me bring this to your attention here, and we can do this with some of the other ones too. But like, if we look at this thumbnail here, right, because this one is it was 3 months ago, and you have 1,000 views on it, which is a good video. Here, the first thing you see is the food right here, right? It's just like right there in your face. You still have the text on there, but you are more of a secondary thing. And what makes you a secondary object in here is if you are, can you see that? Yeah, you can. Okay. So if you look at all the colors that are happening in this thumbnail, the red definitely pulls attention. But in order for that to pull attention, you have to kind of go across the thumbnail, right? So I think in that particular case, I think that, you being in there, even with the red, which is, which can be a bad move with thumbnails, it still kind of works, right? Because the focus, like when you look at that, the first place your eye goes is like that top left third, right? Up there where like kind of like right in the middle of that meat, of the of the thing there. So with that, I think that particular one is good. So if you are going to do this sort of thing, maybe take some new pictures and throw you over on the other side, maybe wear some different shirts or learn how to color tone your shirts in like Photoshop or something, and just kind of move them around and try to make it to where you blend more with the food, versus, pulling attention away from the food for the thumbnails. But I think the positioning on this is good. I actually want to see something here really quick. I got to go look in here anyway. Okay, yeah, look at this. Okay, so here, granted, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But I mean, if you look at the difference here, right, on all of these top performing videos, and these are the top performing videos on your channel. Almost 100,000, right? Easy kale, right? How to cook kale. So right here. And I'm, I don't know if you don't do this because you don't want to be, a cooking channel, but this is a how-to video in terms of like, this helps people solve a problem. It's a clear focus on the food. Even though you're in here, you're not competing with this in any way, shape, or form. And the text that you have on here is, supportive for what it is. And based on the position and the color, it is the first thing that you see in the thumbnail. So here, this actually helps kind of lead on to this. Here, same thing, huge focus on the food. It looks delicious. Like that's a really good picture. For the legend part, I don't really care about that. I would have just done it with without that. But this is another one that's a how-to video. Here, fresh and easy greens and butter, how to cook green peas. Like this is your path, my man. This is your path, right? 100,000 views, 75,000 views, 73, 57. Yeah, this is your path, my dude. Yeah, and like this photo here, right? See? Okay, if you look here, same thing. I still would have done without this easy chart on here. But like, look what you did with the depth of field to where you just put a big focus right here. Like, hey, look at all this. Bam, right? Where it's a real hard focus on the food. Yeah, man, I love that. Okay, so I see your message here. You said, I pivoted away from how-to cooking videos about 2 years ago because they're a lot of work to produce. Okay. So when it comes, okay. So if you've pivoted away from this, then one thing that I would do is I would work on a similar clarity to these, right? Because how to cook Swiss chard that will melt in your mouth doesn't get any more clear than that. The imagery is clear, right? In terms of grabbing their attention, it's bright and colorful. Same exact thing here, fresh and easy green beans. All of these are really easy to understand. Like if you had never seen your channel before, you don't know that you have a series, you don't know any of that stuff. Like when you read some of these titles and you just kind of look at what's going on from the packaging, everything here is super easy to understand and there's crystal clear value. So with the new way that you've went with your content, the first thing that I would definitely start thinking about is how can I start packaging these up in a way to where, and of course, you already know that this starts at the topic, right? But I would start packaging these up in a way and start coming up with the video ideas to where you're like, okay, how are other, people kind of reviewing food and what are they using in terms of, titles and topics really to get attention to what it is that they're doing. In your particular case, because you are doing review type things, the idea for the video is going to carry you. Like if you don't want to do the work on the side of, producing the content, do the work on the side of coming up with the ideas for the videos, right? Because that you can do while you're working, like while you're at your job, when you're driving in the car, just thinking of video ideas, whatever, looking around, you see a billboard, like, oh, I wonder if I can make a video out of that, right? So I would take that production time that you pivoted from and spend that time trying to come up with video ideas. And then from there, once you have the idea, working on the like, okay, how can I make this as crystal clear as I possibly can? Because the unfortunate thing is you stepped away from the content that's harder to produce in exchange for content that doesn't perform as well, right? So one thing that I just want to throw at you real quick, and I know you've pivoted, so you've pivoted and that's perfectly fine. But when it comes to the response that you're getting in comparison, you have to make like 10 of these videos or more in some cases in order to get the response of some of the videos that took more time to make, right? So that's just kind of like an elephant in the room. So like I got to say it. So I would definitely consider that. I would definitely consider, just working on clarity in your particular case. And I see what, if this isn't Dunkin' Donuts, and it is something local, just using popular in there to try to, kind of force it in there. That's fine because it's better than just saying, this location, in my area, because then that would really lock it down. But you just have to think like, okay, why would random people care about what went wrong at a donut chain? So some people that might care is people that were entrepreneurs thinking of starting a restaurant or something like that. They might care, but a foodie might not care. They might, but they might not care, as much as somebody that actually lives in that area. So yeah, in your particular case, man, I would start with, okay, it's exclusive to the West Coast. Yeah, in your case, man, I would definitely start. See here, some of the pivoted videos are starting to work up in the ranks. Oh, that's good. That's good. Definitely good. But yeah, I would definitely work on clarity in your particular case so that you can, just kind of fine tune that part. And, just think to yourself, right, when you're packaging it all up at the video idea, one, why would the general public that isn't in my area. Why would they care about this? Like here, as soon as you put in Philly, then you're locking this to Philly, right? So it's like, what can I make at the ideation stage that's more, that would be appealing to the, a large amount of people. It doesn't have to be the largest amount of people, but that would appeal to a large amount of people. And how can I package it in the clearest way possible? I would start there, because I think currently, I think that's where the point of friction is with you moving forward is that right now. Because if you can start nailing some of the video ideas and you can get them clear, then that by itself will start getting you more clicks. And I know, I've seen your videos, I've seen your shorts, I've seen your videos on TikTok. I know you make good content. So I don't think your content's really a problem. I think it's the ideas and how they're being packaged up, and how they're, not relevant to like the largest, groups of people. So yeah, I would work on that stuff in your particular case. And Jerry, any questions about any of that stuff, shoot me a message. Okay, so next up on our list here, we are going to do Tube Spanner again, but you got to actually spell out again. Yeah, being a content creator, like one of the hardest things is just coming up with good ideas, like, and it doesn't matter like how long you've been doing it. Like it's so hard that there are people in this industry that their entire job is coming up with ideas for successful content creators. Like there's a guy, he charges $5,000 a month and he works with a, small handful of select creators, and his whole thing is coming up with ideas. And he basically comes up with those ideas. He frames those ideas. He builds out like, okay, this is kind of what the story would be like around this idea. Here's some, ideas for, how you might package this idea, stuff like that. And he charges $5,000 a month for that. And he's booked. So it's a hard thing. With my stuff too, like I put out video ideas sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this conversation happening. I've gotten requests for this. I know people need it. And I put it out and it just doesn't, land. So, like we all deal with that. So, so anybody here that's dealing with that, like don't beat yourself up over it. Just work on it, right? Just try to get better at it. Okay, so we're at 40 entries. So just waiting for a few more. And if you are just joining us, what we're doing right here is we're pulling up YouTube channels and we're giving feedback. All you have to do for this, it's all free, courtesy of Tube Spanner. All you have to do is put Tube Spanner again, the word, into the chat. And when you do that, it's going to register in here. And then once it registers in here, I'm going to hit this little draw button here in just a second. And then it's going to randomly select somebody here in the chat. I'm going to wait for it's not case sensitive, I don't think. Daniel. Okay, we're going to go ahead and spin it. It's slowed down. So here we go.
Disqualified.
Oops.
Let's get this thing spinning.
iPhone Chris. All right. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go to his channel. Go to your videos tab. Okay, iPhone Chris, Down syndrome, extra chromosomes equals extra fun. So let's see here. So right here in your particular case, I would definitely put up here what it is that, that you actually offer on the channel. Because here you have ways that you can help you grow. But I would definitely put, like what it is that you're actually doing on the channel. Down here, Harry Potter stuff. I mean, it's pretty clear. Universal Studios Hollywood. I'm not sure if you actually went on vacation here or what it is that you're doing. But when you are writing your titles, same exact thing, right? That I usually say when I have these conversations is when you're writing your titles, just try to make sure that you're thinking about, okay, if somebody is going to be seeing this, because you mentioned here Harry Potter stuff, right? Here, let me actually make this bigger. Sorry. There we go. So you mentioned here Harry Potter stuff. So with Harry Potter stuff, this tells people it has something to do with Harry Potter. You even have Harry Potter World. You have Harry Potter imagery in here. All that stuff is good. But if you did, Harry Potter, Harry Potter vacation or, a peek at Universal Studios Harry Potter world or something along those lines, then it just adds a little bit more context from the outside. If you wanted to mix in the Down syndrome part with this, then you could even build it around that too. You could say, Down syndrome experience at Universal Studios Hollywood. And I'm saying that because I remember the conversation that I had with your mother when we were at Vid Summit. And in that particular case, one of the advantages of doing that would be that you would also be catering to a very specific, group that could get a lot of value out of that video. So that type of thing where you add that clarity, and then maybe you even hit target that specific group. So then that way people can get insights into that experience before they go. I would definitely consider that. And then here, Ancient Wizard Uncover Wand. This is another one to where, focusing more attention on this. This is something to where, you kind of did it over here, actually. But, this is where, making sure that you are making the thing that would be interesting to the viewer the most clear would definitely be the move in this case. And then also just put like, what is it, right? Like, are you reviewing it? Are you showing it? Did you just get it and you're doing the review of it? Like what about the wand? Another thing is I wouldn't do this sort of thing to where it's like a 9-second video. And really with this one, 55 seconds, this should be a short anyway. But this one here where it's a 9-second video, I also wouldn't, put a video out to let people know that this is coming. Instead, I would just put the video out, once it drops. And then by doing that, you're not going to cause anybody to unsubscribe or, anything like that. Instead, you're just giving them content. And when people subscribe to your YouTube channel, they subscribe to your channel because they want content from you. So when you have just like a quick thing like this that you put up, same thing here with this one, then it's not, content. Another thing, man, like in your case, one thing that I would also consider is, I'm not sure if you're doing shorts or not, but in your particular case, I think that, doing some shorts, might also, be a good thing. And the reason for that is because the videos that you're making, they're already shorts. So like this is a short in length, this is a short, this is a short, this is a short, this is a short, this one's a little bit longer. That one's almost a short, this one's almost a short by a couple of seconds. Yeah, like a majority of the content that you have here is short. So because of that, I would just focus on shorts. And then that way you don't have to worry about thumbnails, anything like that. And then you can just worry about the video content and focus on that. Because like here, you see here, you've got this one about, you pieing somebody in the face. You got like 3,000 views on that, right? That's a good video right there. Let me go to your other popular ones here. Yeah, 3,000 views on this one, 2.7 thousand on this one, 1,000 on this one, 762 on that one. I'm just curious here. Now you got 7,000 over here on this one from a year ago. Yeah, it looks like people like these pies in the face. And you're doing them a lot too. So one thing that's also advantageous, just to go ahead and point this out, is that when you are publishing videos and you find something that works, lean into it. So here you were leaning into it. You had pies to the face, pies to the face, pies to the face, pies to the face. Like all of your top videos are people getting pied in the face. In theory, you could have a huge chunk. I mean, if you have willing participants, you could have a lot of your content being about, pies in the face. Because if they responded to that, granted, this is 3 years ago, but 2 years ago also. So some of this is a little bit dated, and this one's a year ago. But if people are responding to that, then, that might be something that you want to lean into. So one of the things that's really important, for all of us is when we do find things that work with our content, being like, okay, can I do more of that? Can I do variations of it? If I was pieing one person in the face, can we do like a group pie? If we were doing like a group pie, can we do, group pies dressed as Harry Potter characters? Can we do, you know what I mean? And just like try to lean into that. Yet on different kinds of pies, right? Just for the pumpkin pie in the face around the holidays. Yep, Doug's on it right there. Yeah, he says pumpkin pie, to the face right there. But yeah, like that type of thing is definitely, something to consider, Chris. Yeah, different flavors. We got some apple pie in there. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got let's see here. Tube Spanner Assistant is the word. And the reason I said Tube Spanner Assistant is because you may or may not know that Tube Spanner has a browser plugin. And with that browser plugin, they have something called an upload assistant. And there's a little instruction video here on how to use it. But basically, with the upload assistant, one of the things that you can do here is you can have preset descriptions, as you can see that I have right here. I have smart links in here. So let's say that I wanted to add like an Illuminati hashtag. I just click on that and it goes in there. Let's say it's a video that I'm making for another channel or for something else. And I'm like, oh, hey, this is an affiliate video. I need to add an affiliate disclaimer. I click on affiliate disclaimer and then it goes ahead and adds that down to the bottom. But you have all of these things down here, right? And these are all customizable. You can make whatever you want. It's got video links to where if you want to add videos down into your description, which is something that I've been recommending for years, to where you can start recommending content that's relevant to the viewer. And with this, you don't have to go to your channel and find it and all that stuff. You can just click on it here and it'll add the link. So basically how that would work is you would put some text there, like, if you enjoyed this, check out this video here about blah, blah, blah. And then you would just go through here and then you would find that, and then you'd find that video. And it gives you thumbnails, as you can see, so that you don't have to kind of guess just on the title itself. Really helpful tool. But in addition to that, if you look right here, if I go into the preset description, for my regular live stream I do on my channel, because it's like there's tons of stuff in there, I just click on this and then bam, it puts all of this in here for me. And you can fill out as many of those as you want to as part of the upload description. But within this, there's also the sharing tool where you can share content out onto your social media. So you can see right here, I could just click this and then share it out. There's the planner, there's the toolbox where you can jump into anything, and you also have Chat GPT here directly in the plugin as well. So you can check that out, of course, at tubespanner.com, or you can also find it in the Google Chrome store, the Safari extension store, and the Firefox store. So if you are just joining us, what we are doing is we are looking at YouTube channels and giving feedback. One of the things that that we're doing here is if you just type this into the chat, as you can see some other people are doing, then it adds your channel to the list of channels that we might look at here. This is all free. You don't have to pay for anything. We're doing this as a service, from Tube Spanner. So shout out to Tube Spanner, high five, fist bump for, hooking us up with this. And yeah, so go ahead and make sure that you get your thing down there, and we'll that you put that word in the chat. And here I'm just waiting for like one or two more, and then I'm going to pull it. Where is my water? I'm pulling it. Pulling it. And Imperial Remnant. Okay, let me copy this one out. Let me go to YouTube. Make sure, let's see here. Hey, I like where this is going. Okay, so it's not showing up there. Let me go into the channel filters. Booyah. Okay, so one thing I want to show you. So when it comes to YouTube search, I'm not sure if you noticed, I had to come here and I had to select on the filter. Let me make this bigger. So I had to come here in YouTube search, and there's a little filter area over here on the right-hand side. So the default sorting, if I take it off of channel, the default sorting is relevance, okay? So when I click on the filter over here, then I can come over and I can click on channel, and then that makes your channel come up. Since the default is relevance, you're gonna have a hard time competing with some of those Star Wars channels, just as a heads up. But as your channel starts growing, you do want to make sure that you do have your About Me page where you actually mention your channel name in here too. So this page right here is also taken into context when people are searching for things on YouTube. So what you want to do is you want to do Imperial Remnants. Let's see here. does a 101 informational series of new fans of deep dive theories and speculation about every minute detail in Star Wars or whatever. And basically take that approach when you're writing it, because one, when people share it out, then they're going to see it. Two, it'll also help when people are actually looking for your YouTube channel. But here, Star Wars lore, reviews, theories, room, and prop building. Absolutely love it. And really quick, I have to do this. I mean, it's a Star Wars channel, so I'm not sure if you've seen this or not. But I have this. It is a prop replica Stormtrooper helmet from ATA Works. So this isn't like a, just like a random, helmet off of like Amazon or something, but you can see the ATA Works thing like in there. But yeah, this is an awesome helmet. Had to do that. Okay, so let's get the channel up here and see what we got. Add stage. Okay, so the first thing is Star Wars lore, reviews, theories, room, and prop building. So all of this is great, but one thing that I do want to bring to your attention. First off, I say it's awesome that you're doing the room building. Man, I could have used you here. So when I got this place, I was thinking of doing like a Death Star theme back here on this back wall, so that it would just kind of have that look to it, put lights behind it, all of that whole thing. But I just didn't do it. I went to like a metal store where they do like stamped metal, and I was wanting to have that grid made, this thing right here that you have in the background. But it was way too expensive for what I was, willing to do. So I didn't do it. But yeah, it's awesome that you're building this stuff. But one thing that I want to talk about first is that when it comes to YouTube, one thing that's really important is targeting a specific group of people. So with Star Wars lore, reviews, and theories, all of that would be one group of people. Room and prop building is a different group of people. There's going to be some crossover. So it's okay if you have that on here. But one thing that I want you to think about is for the people that are into lore, that have no interest whatsoever in, styling up their room with these wall panels or anything else that you're building, for those people, they're not going to, a majority of them are not going to click on those videos. And you can actually see that if you go into your stats and you look at the returning viewers for those videos, it's probably going to be relatively low. So because of that, one thing that I would just keep in mind is when you are publishing those, let me see with your current upload schedule. Let me see what you're doing. Man, these are awesome. Oh, you're doing them out of wood. You know what? I'm actually going to open this up in a new tab because I'm going to come back to that. But basically, the idea is like, let's say that I subscribe for like one of these videos, and then YouTube shows me this. Well, in that particular case, it's also, there's actually two big problems here. One is that in the other one that I saw on the room build, this one, it's pretty clear it's Star Wars related in the back. You have Death Star, you have light up walls, and then you have the imagery back there that supports, what you're saying there. The thing that doesn't happen here is if you look at this right here. So as a Star Wars fan, as somebody that does this stuff and makes these walls, if this were to show up on your homepage, on your mobile feed, suggested next to another video, there's nothing about this that would help it stand out as something that a Star Wars fan might be interested in, right? So because of that, one thing I would definitely do is I would update this thumbnail immediately with some imagery that has something to do with the actual build itself. Because here you have, the screen wall and, the Death Star Theater. So what you're relying on is you're relying on somebody reading your title and just getting everything they need from the thumbnail. But you need to start thinking of that in reverse. So what you want to think about is, how does this thumbnail help people that might be interested in building this identify that it has something to do with a Star Wars build? So one thing to do is put, some type of, logo in there that they know that it's something Star Wars related. Or show like a finished version right there, so that if you're building it in a video, just show like the finished version, but it still needs to be crystal clear that it has something to do with Star Wars. I would do that right away. And the reason for that is because you need people that are interested in Star Wars to identify that it has something to do with Star Wars at a glance with the thumbnail. And when they do, that's when their eyes are going to drop down here to the title. You're halfway there, right? DIY Death Star Theater, screen wall part 1. Great. But you're gonna have a hard time grabbing the people's attention that you're trying to reach with this particular thumbnail. The Bad Batch, Bad Territory, breakdown and review. She's coming back. So I'm not sure what's going on here. But one thing that I would definitely do is, this is kind of like the situation that we were in on the other channel that we just looked at with Jerry's, where you might have the right stuff in there, but the wrong things are pulling attention. So you can see here, old friends and old enemies, but this is really hard to make out in the background. If you look hard enough, then you'll see this. But on YouTube, we're reacting at a glance, right? We're reacting at a glance like, hey, what's grabbing my attention, right? So one thing that I would definitely do here, and you can do this now, like you just published this, so the chances of this getting more impressions on it is going to be the most likely. So I would go in and I would update this thumbnail with a photo that's just more clear. And you might even take this off and just put something about Star Wars there. Because remember, the whole game is just helping people identify that it has something to do with Star Wars. Like right here, this is a good example, right? Here, the Force Beyond Jedi. You've got, this in here, and then important Force, cultures and religions in the Star Wars universe, right? So this clearly grabs the attention. You have the Force in here, and then the Jedi, stuff too. Yeah, crystal clear on that particular one. So yeah, I would definitely work on that. Same exact thing here. I would kind of try to do less distractions with that kind of stuff. And here, instead of like the complete story, just put something about Star Wars, right? Just Star Wars, or, or a logo or something like that. I'm not sure how Disney feels about logos, so I would be careful. I know some channels use them, but I would be really careful with that. But just the word Star Wars, you can totally get away with that. An example of this in action, because you probably watch my videos if you're here on the Tube Spanner channel. One thing that you'll notice if you look at my thumbnails is I often have either the word YouTube in there, or I have a YouTube logo in there. And the reason that I started doing that is because if you're a content creator and you see the YouTube logo, then you're going to have that association, like, hey, this is something to do with YouTube. And then it'll hold your attention for just for that moment longer and help you at least look at the title. So you want to do the same exact thing, because what you're doing is you're talking about something that's already popular. So now you just have to help people identify that it's about something popular, so that they'll, through the imagery, so that they'll read the thumbnail and then click on it, and then you can come in and give them, the videos that you're making. But I would definitely spend some time on that. And just like I was saying with Jerry, and really quick, Jerry says, for that, would you use the sharpening tool in Photoshop? No, I would actually use the shadow and highlights tool in Photoshop to lighten this up. Yeah, I would use the shadow and highlights for that particular one to brighten it up. Maybe I would even use a completely different picture, something that's just more clear, because this has all the little dots all over it and everything from like the flames or whatever it is that it's coming out of. So I would definitely work on that. But you can see here, though, how like the red is taking all the attention. So some people might read it, down there from that, but I would definitely work hard on the imagery itself. So the play with this, just in case you haven't heard me say it before, is when you are putting your thumbnails together, first, when you're deciding, this is the process everybody should go through as long as your content type supports it. Step number one is you come up with a video idea. Once you come up with the video idea, the next step is, okay, if this is the idea for the video, before I make this, how am I going to package it up in terms of the thumbnail and title so that people can easily identify it's about something that they care about? What am I going to use in the what am I going to use for the imagery? Am I going to put words on it? Yes or no? Why am I going to put words on it? And from that imagery that I'm going to be focusing on, is it the focal point of the thumbnail, right? That thing that's going to help them identify it's about something that they care about. Is that the focal point? And then from there, is there anything that I'm doing that could possibly distract people from seeing that focal point? Then once you get through that process, then you go and do the same exact thing with the title. Okay, so if this is what my thumbnail is going to be like for this video that I'm going to make, and you don't have to make the thumbnail, but just kind of sketch it out. And then when it comes to the title, same exact thing. Okay, so this is the title. What about it informs them about what the video is about? What about it is something that that would compel somebody to come in here? Is the topic of this going to also reach, you know, a lot of people that might care about this particular, you know, game? But just run that exercise when you are making thumbnails, and that by itself can make a difference. JMD janitorial, do not, if you're doing janitorial services, you do not want to add a YouTube logo to your thumbnails. The reason that I add it to mine is because I target YouTube content creators with my videos. So you don't want to add that to yours. In your particular case, you want to add things around either business if you're teaching people about the janitorial business, or like supplies or something like that that would, you know, help people in that industry, you know. But back on the Star Wars thing. So yeah, in your particular case, I would definitely work on that. I love that you're doing these builds. I've got this open here in this other window. I'm going to come back and actually watch some of those, because I might end up doing this. But yeah, okay. So one way to think about this, because I love what it is that you're doing in terms of the builds. Like, the builds are awesome. Man, technically, yes, you can have it as a pillar, you know, of content on your channel. But the problem that you're running into, man, is that there's going to be a huge disconnect from a lot of the people that are watching, you know, these, because like when it comes to games like this, you're going to have, you know, a lot of people that are either games or cartoon. You're going to have a lot of adults that are, you know, doing it, but you're also going to have a lot of kids that are in there too, and they're not going to care, you know, about, you know, this kind of stuff in that particular case. So like, one thing that I would consider, and you can keep it on this channel if you want, but just keep in mind that when you publish those videos, if your regular viewers aren't responding to them, and you might have seen these messages already in your creator studio, but if your regular viewers aren't responding to them, then it can actually cause those videos to be kind of deprioritized within the system in exchange for videos that people are responding to. So because of that, I would just be mindful about either how often you're publishing those. If you do that for a living and you're doing these all the time, and you're going to like different people's houses and you're building all these things out, then in that case, like, maybe have a channel for the, you know, for the, I don't know if this is a cartoon or a game, I'm not sure, but basically having the channel for that, and then having the channel for the builds. Because with the builds, you could go way down that rabbit hole, right? In terms of like, yeah, these are the best, you know, parts to use. These are this, that, this is the other thing. But like, I think that part is super interesting. But I think that it's a disconnect from the other content that you're making in terms of just nailing the audience, right? Like, what you're doing right here is kind of like what I do with like live streaming content. So like, when I make videos about live streaming, it typically takes them a really long time to do well. And I usually have to search target those videos because a smaller percentage of my audience live streams. But in my case, I still need to put that content out because it's still, you know, helpful for content creators, and I want my channel to be an entire resource for content creators. So because of that, I still put them out, but those videos are usually really slow burn videos that I have to get search traffic from because they just don't get a great response right out of the gate. So in your particular case, I would definitely just kind of start thinking about that. And if you are doing those on a regular basis, then I would, you know, I would consider having a dedicated channel just for those, because that audience is going to like really be into that stuff. My brother, for example, he does like cosplay. He built like a full, because I have the helmet, but he built from a neck down an entire stormtrooper outfit for me. You can see it on my TikTok. It's the very first one. He has that for me. He made a Mandalorian costume for himself, and he's, you know, he totally gets into all this stuff. But you know, like that type of viewer will watch every video that you publish. Whereas when you start kind of splitting up your audience in the way that you're currently doing, it can be challenging because every video isn't good for, you know, for the people that you're trying to reach. You know, before season 3. Okay, so I guess it is a season. Yeah, I would definitely work on the packaging on this particular one. like right away on this, on the one that you did publish yesterday. Yeah, and also, man, like with all of your thumbnails, like this one's clear, right? That it's about Star Wars. This one's clear that it's about, you know, Star Wars. This one is pretty clear. Yeah, this one too. Yeah, I would just make sure that the focus is on the imagery and not as much on the text. So maybe use like white text or something like that, unless you're trying to keep some type of like theme or something like that. But I would, because the red kind of pulls attention away from the imagery itself. So I would focus more on the imagery and less on the actual text. But yeah, in your particular case, I would definitely get clear on the, you know, on the audience, on who it is that you're trying to make content for. And just in case you don't know, like when it comes to that particular thing, like there's YouTube courses where when people go into the courses, the reason that they start getting results afterwards is because the course simply the very first step, they have you set goals. And then after you set those goals, they have you identify the audience that you're targeting with your content. And then they just give you a handful of questions to ask before you decide to make a video, to ask yourself before you decide to make a video. So because of that, you know, it can be a game changer if you just get that clarity on who it is that you're trying to reach and you focus on serving just them. Okay, our next one here is Tube Spanner with the number 1 attached to it. I'm going to subscribe here too, just to be safe so I don't miss this. And I'm going to put one of these in my search history or my watch history on the Tube Spanner channel. Oh, it's so awesome. I'm so jealous. This is so great. Look at that. Oh my God. That's just glorious. Man, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull it.
Let's get this thing spinning.
Adventures with Time. Okay, Adventures with Time. Let's see what you got. Anybody here watch Rick and Morty? When I'm doing these, I'm opening up a new YouTube so I don't accidentally close the other one there. Yeah, where they're like, show me what you've got. All right, Adventures with Time. Yeah, this is another one, just like on the last channel, where the channel name itself is competitive. Let's see here. It looks like AWT. Yeah, you definitely need to add this stuff to your Adventures with Time. Yep. Hey, if you could do me a favor. Oh, okay. Yep, you already did. Okay, so go to your channel. I'll find it this way. There we go. All right, so you're already in motion. I think I've looked at your channel before. This looks really familiar. Yeah, I think I've looked at this before. Okay, reviewing, collecting tips, history, and more. Perfect. And then you got the watches up there. Adventures with Time. On this channel, you'll find videos reviewing watches. Okay, so a quick thing that might help you in search is right here. And just exchange the words for, hold on, right here. So Adventures with Time reviews watches, watch collection, shares watch collecting strategies, history of watches, and even some videos about working on watches, right? And the whole idea is that adding that there can help your channel show up in YouTube search. Let's see here for you. 4 things to hate about watch collecting. Okay, so all that's about watches. That's good. You've got videos added or playlists added as sections onto your channel page. So one thing I want to just bring to your attention really quick, and I know when it comes to watches that this stuff is really like super evergreen. So because of that, this isn't a huge deal, but just keep in mind, like if I'm a brand new viewer and I just land on your channel page, I'm having trouble finding something that's fresh, right? I mean, at a glance and easily. So right here, the first thing that I get is this trailer from a year ago. And then as I scroll down the page, the For You, which this is going to show different things to different people, but currently this is showing me content from 2 years ago. And then when I come down here into your popular watch content, that's at 5 years ago, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years, 3 years. So until I scroll down a bit, it almost looks like this channel has been abandoned from the channel page. So just as a heads up, some people that are particular about what it is that they subscribe to, they would come down here and they would look at this on your channel page. And some of those people might be too lazy to go to your videos tab. But some people might make the decision to not subscribe just based on like, oh, okay, they're not publishing anymore. But some people that are like really into it, they'll look at your video page and see that you have new content. But the way to work around that, and there's also a strategic reason for this too, but the way to work around that is to, man, I'm having like weird browser problems. The way to work around that is to add your most recent uploads to the top of your channel page here. So you have your For You, and then underneath the For You have your most recent uploads. 2 reasons for that. One is that it shows people your most recent content. 2 is that when you look at your most recent videos here, you've got 154 views on this, 323, 857, and so on. So one thing that is helpful for the people that do interact with your channel page is every view that goes into your YouTube video tells YouTube's system if like what type of viewers respond well to your content and who doesn't. So if you have that content on at the top of your channel page, then what's going to happen is some of the people that are hitting your channel page are going to go into those new videos as well. The people that are going into those new videos are the people that are going to be the most likely to watch them because watch them and enjoying because they're entering from your channel page and they likely got to your channel page through one of your other videos. So because of that, really important to make sure that you have that most recent videos up there at the top so that you can use every one of those viewers that are interacting with that content to help train up YouTube's system on who's a great fit to recommend your content to. So I would definitely get that up there as soon as you possibly can. Let's see here. The Great Watch Hand Challenge, the Ultimate Watch Challenge from no hands to record-setting hands. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. I'm not a watch enthusiast, so for watch enthusiasts, that might be a little bit more clear. But you're doing the right thing here in terms of, you got a watch here, right? That's going to help people identify that it has something to do with the watch. So you're nailing it in that regard. You'll love this Vero Smokey the Bear watch. Okay. So another thing too, like with things like this is when you are doing these like reviews, if that's what this is, which it seems like it might be. One thing that can be helpful too is like here, it's like, you'll love this, Smokey the Bear watch. So one thing that people seem to respond to, and I don't know why, but people respond to things like, X reasons, like 4 reasons you'll love the such and such watch. And I don't know why, but people respond to it. I don't know if it's because it's like, oh, okay, they're going to share with me, very clear things. Like it's an organized video. Excuse me. But people respond to that. So I would definitely, just consider that when you are writing your titles, like, X reason you'll love the Smokey, the Smokey the Bear watch. These watches making me doubt everything. This is good because in this particular case, this is about like, oh, okay, like if you're into this watch, then it kind of creates that feeling like, oh, like what's bad about this, right? So I think that's good. Comparing 2 great on travel watches, pros and cons. Yeah, I think that one's okay too, because you're doing the clear comparison. I think all of those are good. Yeah, I think these are all good. So why are these views low? Let's see what you got. Yeah, I can't fully watch the video with sound and everything just because I don't know what music's playing and all that, so we can't get the copyright stuff on here. Okay, so introduction, then you get into the info. So one thing that you might want to look into, because this is all pretty clear from the outside. So if people are leaving the video quickly, one thing that I would look into is if you go into your audience retention reports, if you're not familiar with that, what it is, it's a second by second graph that we have that shows us how people respond to our content. See how, because I see that you have this broken down into chapters here. See how people are responding to this first area. See if these intros, if people are skipping these intros to get over to the actual information or not. If you do find that, then I would try to shorten these intros up a bit and just get people into the content faster if that is something that you find. And the only reason I'm saying that is because you have this one labeled as introduction. So I'm guessing this is just like a pretty talky. I'm guessing this is like a pretty talky part, where you're just like, talking about, whatever when it first starts. But I would just look in your audience retention reports to see if you do notice, like if it goes like this and then has like a dip up, then that would mean that people are just skipping that part to get to the juice of the video. But if you do find that people, that it drops a little bit, which is natural, and then you catch them and then they're, going across like this, then in that particular case, it'd be fine. But if you do see like a severe drop and then they kind of spike back up once you get into the meat, then in that case, I would start trying to make these intros shorter. But from my opinion, I think that from the outside that this is all pretty clear in terms of what it is that you're offering. I think a lot of the packaging is okay as well. But if you aren't getting a lot of views on these videos, there's a reason for it. So I don't know if there's just not as high of an interest in these watches. I don't know if it is where watch enthusiasts aren't responding to the packaging. I don't know if it's because once they come into the video, that they are abandoning the video quickly. I don't know if it's because the videos are short. I know that I had a friend of mine that was going to start a watch channel, and we did tons of research on that channel, and I can't remember the details. But we looked at all the top, watch channels, and at that particular time, I can't remember how long the average videos were, but that's something that we factor in. Like when somebody's starting a YouTube channel, we go and we look at the competition. We're like, how long are the videos that we're competing with? And the reason that that's important is because one of the things that YouTube is going for is watch time per impression. And this is stuff that I don't normally talk about, but like you're further down the road here. You got like 6,000, subscribers on the channel. So I'm just wanting to, mention this because it's kind of outside of the new, like the brand new YouTuber information. But one thing that I would recommend that you do, because basically when it comes to home pages, when it comes to suggested videos, when it comes to search results, one of the things that YouTube is looking for as a satisfaction signal is watch time per impression. So if other people are also doing videos on this Devosa Turnos 60s watch, and if their videos are longer, and because of it, they're getting longer watch time per impression, then in that particular case, that could just be it. They could be stealing all the thunder, right? So I would definitely go in and I would, look at the other videos around this particular watch, other watch channels. Go to the top watch channels because they're doing it. They have it dialed in. But go and look at those channels and see, like, okay, on average, about how long are the videos that these guys are making or these people are making, because that could be a factor when it comes to the videos not doing well. Because I mean, you're clearly, a watch enthusiast. You got a channel about it. Your packaging, I think, is mostly clear from the outside, but the videos aren't getting a lot of views, which tells me that people aren't responding that great, once they get into the actual video itself. So because of that, I would definitely go look at your audience retention reports, look at that. I would look at the time as well. Like here, I don't know, this one's 11 minutes. So you would be able to collect the watch time there. 6 minutes here, 9 minutes here. So, I mean, all those I think are fine. 5 minutes here. So yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of them are fine. This one's got 2,000 views on it. It's 5 minutes. So you might be okay, but I would definitely look into the length in terms of the other people that are making videos about the watches, and look at this before you make your videos too, like for the next videos that you make. Like, okay, if I'm going to make a video about this particular watch, let me go see on, other successful channels, just a ballpark range of about how long their videos are. And if I am going to make it shorter, I need to come up with something that would be interesting when it comes to short, like, quick, like a, 3 quick things about, or, something like that for the, for the actual watch information. But yeah, in your case, I would definitely go in and look at the retention on the videos, look for any places where they're dipping out of the video and try to use that. YouTube just published, or they're actually rolling it out. Everybody should have it within like a week or so, but they're rolling out a new analytic as part of our audience retention reports that tells us how new viewers versus returning viewers, subscribers versus non-subscribers, is how everybody responds differently to our videos, and their graphs on top of each other. So you can, you'll be able to use that to get an idea of how like your fans are enjoying it compared to how new people are enjoying it. And then you'll be able to, use that information to actually, design the videos in a different way. But I think like this thumbnail, for example, right? It's making me doubt everything. In my opinion, I think that's a compelling package. You're clear here with the watch. You have you in there. So the people that are already engaged in what it is that you're doing, they can identify that it's you, right? So they can come in and enjoy it. For the people that like your content, like all the way around. I think that all of that is good. So I think that the problem's got to be here. So it's either got to be on the watch time that you're generating from this, or just the retention itself isn't that great. And that might be what you need to work on. All right. On that note, I want to remind everybody that this is all brought to you by TubeSpanner. TubeSpanner is a productivity tool for YouTube content creators. There's a bunch of tools in there that can help you in a bunch of different ways. So if you're a content creator, which you are, which is why you're hanging out here, then go to tubespanner.com. Just check it out. Just go to the page, tubespanner.com, see, what you see there, and see if you can, get value out of any of the tools. If there's anything that you need right now that TubeSpanner has. There's free tools in there. There's also paid tools in there, but all the way around, it's an awesome tool. So if you are a content creator, it should definitely be part of your toolkit. So thank you so much for hanging out. So we are doing these here now on a regular basis. So if you enjoyed this, make sure that you subscribe, and have a great rest of your week. I'll be doing my live stream with my brother tomorrow, Nimin Live at 9 a.m. Eastern on my channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick. I help people thrive on YouTube. I've got a link to my channel down in the description, so check that out. And yeah, have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you next time.